Even if you fail, I can respect that so much. And this, I don't think it's a fail at all. I think it's dope. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the SUGA CRAVE Show. I'm back from my busy self. I've just been gone, finishing up projects. I recently co-produced for Angela Mona. A shout out to Angela. She's fantastic singer, friend, amazing artist. And it was actually one of the first projects I ever co-produced. Usually I produce most of it, or it's considered like a collab with someone else, but this project itself, it was really cool. I didn't do really much. It was more of a like sound designed little bits here and there, because most of the track was already there. And mixing, I got to mix her vocals, and I've been doing a lot of that. I've been mixing for a lot of people, which is fun. I think it's a great thing to do besides production. For instance, if you're just feeling not creative. And at that time, I felt I was just getting more in the technical side of my mind, and I just haven't been creative lately. As you can see with the videos, I haven't done a video for a while because I just haven't had really that creativeness, that drive to do it. Most of it has been more on the technical side, like how can I perfect the podcast better visually, you know, sound quality too. And this past couple months, I've been really kind of perfecting my technical side of everything, whether it's like organization. I think it's really good for us producers to get in that side as well. You know, it's not bad to get out of the creative side and get more into technical purposes, besides like music production, like even just making an Excel sheet for your music. Like recently I made an Excel sheet just for the beats that I sell. So I have like a checklist of like, okay, the cover art's done, stems are done. It's just all these like little check marks that you can do to keep yourself organized better. Because before I was just like a mess. I didn't know if I had the artwork, or I did have the, you know, all the stems. Did I zip the stems? Did I get them in the right format? So yeah, it was just these past couple months has just been really kind of, perfecting the technicalness of myself. And, you know, I highly recommend that for you guys. Just do that, you know, especially if you're feeling like if you're having writer's block and you just want to get juices flowing, you know, learn a new compressor, learn how to create a drum bus, learn how other people's mix their drum bus, or how to create a plugin. That's like one of my goals too, in my career, just to create a plugin. But I don't want to create any other type of plugin, like some shitty ass driver or chorus effect. I want something that it would not only would help my own production, but it also would help others. Because it wouldn't make sense if you made a plugin just for for the idea to have one, right? I would want to create a plugin just that I will use, and some of you guys will. So that's definitely in the near future. But yeah, this week has just been crazy when it comes to like creativeness. I've just been so, the juice has been going. And you know what I think? I've been going back to listening to music. Recently I was listening to that Paradise Again album that Swedish House Mafia just released, and oh my God, it's so great. I love what they did when it came to the structure of the whole album. I actually made notes for this because I was going to do a breakdown, and this could be the breakdown itself. That I just love their whole structure of the whole album. As you can see, I I'm a huge fan. I've done a couple videos and people really enjoy them, which is so cool. I love breaking down music, especially Swedish House Mafia recently. They've been creating the most, like, so off them, but in, I don't know, it's like a weird, like, I think in my notes, let me actually pull it up. It's funny. I call it dirty progressive house, if that makes sense. It's not like clean progressive house like back in 2012. It's like dirty, it's grittier. The bass lines are so much heavier now. So there's some of the songs on that album itself has been like simplistic, but like simplistic but enjoyable, right? It's not like, oh, here we go, another kick, clap, generic bass line. There's like variations of, percussion tops, and I just fuck with it so much. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna break down all 17 songs right now, because I might do a video of one by one of my reaction, but I think it should just be like a whole fucking 2 hour, video, rather than just being like, 10, 15 minutes. So, let's go start with the first one, Time, by, I think Mape. Yeah, Mape. So Mape, she's so cool. She's actually from, I think she was born in Rhode Island, and, her mom and her dad's Swedish, and so her mom moved them to Sweden just to get out, of the area that they were. And she's so dope. She's got great music too. But what I love about Time, which is a great starter for this album, is that it really sets the foundation of the album, right? My first note is like, it just sounds like a dirty progressive house track. It's so cool. I think it sounded like they detuned her lead vocal, maybe like a couple semitones. I don't know, but it sounds so sick. I love that kind of that old school R&B, churchy vibe with what people have been doing in house. It's just, I love that. Sometimes it could get overplayed in the tech house world, but I don't know. I still fuck with it. It's one of those things that's like so enjoyable to listen to. So I feel like that was such a great starter for the album. And then you go to Heaven Takes You Home, by Connie Consistent, and she, amazing what she did. What I like about I think it's the production. It's got like this kind of like a piano house vibe. It's very like uplifting. I love what they did with it's like almost a break beat, but they do it in between the fills, and and for me, I love like drum and bass, like break beat. It's just so, it's cool when you can do it in a tasteful way, and they did it with this track. It was, one of, I just love those little details in a track that makes it not unique, because people do it as well in other production, but it sounds better than just, a kick and a clap, right? And, hi-hat. It's nice to kind of give it like that roll, especially if it feels natural, and this definitely feels natural. Jacob's Note, which was really, really cool, because I just love the piano. It just sounds lovely, sounds luscious. It just sounds like heavenly in a way. And I sound like a wine connoisseur right now. Like, that's why I feel, man, with music, I just feel like it's so tasteful sometimes, especially this. But what they did with Jacob's Note, it goes into the intro of Moth to a Flame with The Weeknd, which I fuck with so much with the album. When people make an album, a legit album, and it's consistent, right? It's cohesive. And that felt so natural how they do that. So we go to Moth to a Flame, which is so dope. It's I like that dark 80s vibe, which fits with The Weeknd so much, but also with the Swedish House Mafia as well. So that dirtiness of the synthesizers, the bass, oh, it's just so heavy. And then especially like The Weeknd's vocals. It's killer. It's very killer. It's probably one of my favorite tracks of the album. Um, Probably number 2, but later on I'll probably reveal my number 1. Okay, so after that we go to number 5. It's Mafia. So Mafia. I'm a bit iffy. I like the track itself, but it kind of reminds me of a Rez track. It has that Rezzy vibe. If that makes sense, Rezzy vibe, but it's got like a Rez vibe. It's got her like rhythm. But what I dig about it is the hi-hats. Just the sound, the rhythm of how they did the hi-hats. I love it. It doesn't sound traditional hi-hats like closed and open. There's something that they put into it, and I love it. I dig it. It's weird because that was my favorite part about that whole track in Mafia. But okay, so we move on to number 6, Frankenstein with ASAP Rocky. Fuck yeah, this was so cool. I was thrilled when this came up because I was like, okay, cool. They're not just gonna make a dance album. They're trying to push things. They're trying to, you could tell especially with the Moth to a Flame, people still think it's dancey, but I think it's like dancey pop. But with ASAP Rocky, I thought it was so dope to get him on the track. Despite the shit that he's going through right now, it's just fucked up. It's just crazy. It's been a wild ride for him, wild ride for Swedish House Mafia. But I think it's a dope ass track. The overall feel of it, it's so cool that they're experimenting with different genres. They're not just strictly doing hip hop. They're not doing house music. They're not doing progressive house. They're exploring their sound, their abilities as musicians, as producers. And dude, I fuck with that so much. Even if you fail, I can respect that so much. And this, I don't think it's a fail at all. I think it's dope. I think it's sick, especially ASAP Rocky. Don't go mad. What I like about it was that the organ, the beginning of it, it's kind of like, it's weird. I don't know why, but it reminds me of that track, Call Me with Eric Pritz. I don't know why. Maybe it's the same, like, with Eric Pritz is like, dun, 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 dun. I don't know. To me, it sounds kind of similar or the same rhythm. But maybe that's why I like the track, because it kind of reminds me, and that's a fucking sick ass track. So go check that out. And that Call Me track. So, okay. So after that, we go to number 8, Paradise Again. Paradise Again. It reminds me of a film, and I enjoy that so much. I love when artists and producers and just singer-songwriters can convey a song as like a movie. Like you could paint it already. And so for me, I love it. When I mean how they can portray it in a movie, there's an intro, there's, like an introduction. Like when you first watch a movie, you're trying to figure out what are the pieces in the beginning. Who's who what, who does what, and what's the problem. And that's how I felt with Paradise Again. I felt like there was a point of the song where you're trying to figure out what's going on, right? You're just like, all right, strings, it's mystical, and then it kind of carries into somewhat of the chorus or pre-chorus, and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of get the gist of it. I'm understanding of it. And to me, it felt like, I don't know, like you're walking through a forest, right? Or you were just dropped off in the middle of the forest, right? And you're trying to escape. And then, so you're going through obstacles, you're going through, trees and trails and trying to figure out where to go. You smell something, you look at things, you see the moon, you try to picture where you're located. And then finally, towards the end, you see the light, right? You see the house, you see the safe area. You feel relieved. And that's how I felt exactly with this track. I felt like you were stuck in the forest and you're trying to get yourself out of it, right? But you're trying to figure out where to go, where it will take you. And I think Paradise again just made you feel that way. All right, so going to number 9, Lifetime. You guys already know how I feel about Lifetime. I have a video on YouTube that you can check it out. I fucking love Lifetime, especially Ty Dolla $ign. Ty Dolla $ign is the dopest singer. It's just one of my top 10 singers. I think just fantastic how, just his lyrics, his vocal range. I just love how you can put that man anywhere, right? And he'll sound great. And so I respect that track. It was just refreshing from all their previous releases. So when they released that months ago, I was just like, what the fuck? This is like so not Swedish House Mafia. This is so, original, and it was sick. So go check out the breakdown video. You can watch the full one. But yeah, it's one of probably my favorite track. Really, to be honest, it's one of my all-time favorites. Okay, so Calling On, number 10. What I like about a portion of this track was this alarm. I know this probably sounds so fucking random, but they have like this alarm kind of like rhythm and a sound, and it was so cool, especially with this like the church voice, church vibe. And I don't know, I really dig that you can implement those two things that sound completely crazy to be together, but they did it in such a graceful way that it just sounds tasteful. Finding an affordable recording studio to rent is quite difficult now these days. A lot of them are requiring you to pay a minimum of $50 up to $250 an hour. But luckily, I came across this great recording studio called Pirate Studios. They have tons of mini studios in one facility, and what's so cool about it, they're all around the world. They have one here in LA, a couple in New York, and quite a bit in Europe. These are great facilities. They have everything that you need. Microphones, keyboards, monitors, interface. All you need to do is plug in the USB to your laptop and you're ready to go. Luckily, I have a referral code for you guys to use. So if you put promo code RAUL 600435, you will get credit, and also I will get credit. Once again, this is an amazing studio. I think it'd be great for you guys to check out, and let me know what you guys think of your experience at Pirate Studios. All right, we're going to number 11, Home. I like how they put this song in the album because it by far, I think it's one of the chillest songs that they have on there. But if you go to the halfway mark, there's this like weird kind of like percussion. To me, it sounds like birds flapping their wings. I don't know how to describe it, but that's how it sounds to me. It sounds like birds flapping their wings. But in a percussive way. I don't know what they did, but that was so cool. I thought that was the coolest part about that track. And at the very end, I really like this like chucking sound. It almost sounds like a guitar chuck. A very like 70s kind of groovy vibe, and I thought it was dope that they did that, and it felt right, especially since it's a chill track. So now you have like a kind of like a slow funk chucking to it, and it was just really cool. It's one of the really cool tracks. Okay, so number 12, Gets Better. I did a breakdown on this track as well. I really liked it because it felt like like a warrior track. I don't know. I felt like if I was gonna, like a Kill Bill, like, you know, when she's in that dojo and fucking just slays all these ninjas. I just felt that. I felt like that song could be in there. And the fucking cowbell at like a minute 24, that fucking threw me off. And I thought was the sickest thing when they put that. I think it's a cowbell. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it sounds dope as hell. All right, coming in at number 13, Red Light. I dig this because, you know, of course, you know, they're DJs, you know, they're quote unquote EDM producers. And they kind of, you know, with this album, they, you know, it wasn't like a typical EDM album, but it was cool that they added Red Light to this album, because it's, to me, it sounds like an underground rave track. Just that sound design to that in the beginning, it sounds like you're in the club. Like you're like, for instance, you're like checking your ID, you're going in, and you know, it's just like that booming from the background. And for me, I think that's so sick when producers do that, just to create a imagery in your head, because, you know, with audio, that's what's so great about audio, that you can have that ability to paint a world to somebody or to all your listeners, and they can all imagine, you know, million different scenarios. So to me, that's how I felt. I felt like I was going to an underground rave and in the beginning, and it's one of those tracks that I really dig it, because it kind of you know, it kind of feeds your expectations and your love for them too. You're like, oh great, you know, I can't wait to hear this live at a club or a festival when they're playing. So, and then, okay, so 14, Can You Feel It? I like the simplicity of it. It's very tasteful. The riser. I think it's cool how they use the riser in the beat. You know, because typically in the dance world, you use a riser to build it up, right? To, you know, for the build up, and then you have the drop, and then drop, you know, there's no riser. But it's cool. It kind of sounds like Axwell riser. There's like a video out there on YouTube. I think he teaches I don't know if it's Axwell. It's some DJ that shows like you can make this like a universal riser. I think it is Axwell. It's basically, there's never ending. It just keeps going, keeps going. You never reach to the end of it, but it sounds like it's escalating. It's the coolest fucking sound design ever. So go check it out. It's on YouTube. I don't know if it's Axwell. It might be another producer, but fucking let me know on the comments below too. Because I would fucking love to see that again. So, okay, cool. We're going to go at 19.30. Coming at number 15. I dig it, because this made me feel like if I was on shrooms and I was in my hospital bed, and I was hearing my heartbeat. This is the track that would resemble that. Like, it was cool. It just sounded like a heartbeat monitor in the dance track. It was just like, you know, dee, dee, dee. It was just really cool what they did with it. And if I were to paint a picture, that's how exactly it would, I would imagine it be. All right, so coming in at number 16, another minute. Okay, so with this track, it was cool. I like the electric pop-ish vibe. It was different. It's because we're coming to this is the second to last, so I think it was really good placed in the album, because it was very chill. It was like, you know, like when you go to see a DJ live, right? They have their mix, right? So intro is very kind of like, you know, to get you started, and you know, the meat of it's usually like, you know, 10 or 20 minutes in their set. So depending if they're doing an hour set, it'd probably be, you know, yeah, 10 minutes or 20 minutes in there. It's the real shit that they're going to play. So for this, it was cool that they put this track in there because if you know, you can, it felt like, okay, cool, we're slowing down, we're towards the end of the album, but I love what they did with the production, the pitch bending with the synths. I dig that, especially how smooth it was. You know, sometimes I think my issue sometimes with Ableton is when I do those pitch bends, I tend to go a little too schematic or too, I don't know, sometimes, you know, too obvious in a way. And it was nice. It was kind of a lush pitch bend, which is it's cool. And you know, I like to like listen to that and study that because I was like, okay, maybe I can try that in my production. And it's just one of those songs that's really good to kind of break down, especially for sound design and production outline, if that makes sense. So, and then last but not least, last but not least, For You. For You. It's beautiful. Honestly, it's the most beautiful track to end. I sound like I don't know. Dude, I fucking, I'm just so happy that they end it in such a right note and such a, you know, great title, For You, for the audience. Who knows if this might be the last album that they're ever gonna make. So it's like, it was such a good, this track was such a good send off to end the album. I mean, I just love how they mix the vocals, the stacks on it. It just sounds so lush. It almost sounds heavenly. It's weird. It's almost like you're meeting Swedish House Mafia in the gates of God, you know, gates of heaven, and they're just like, "Yeah, come on, you know, come with me." You know, it feels weird. It kind of reminds me of Happy Gilmore when he's like at the last hole, and you just see his instructor. He's like, "It's all in the hips." It's just like he's just like happy thoughts, and that's how I felt with this song. It was just like it was the end, but it's not the end forever, right? It's, you know, we're still together and stuff like that. So it was cool. And at 1 minute and 46 seconds, the change up there was so sick. I was not expecting that because, you know, in the intro you just sound like, oh, it's very luscious and stuff like that, and then boom, it goes to like you know, going back to dance, and it was, I love that. I thought that was so sick that what they did. And I don't know, man, this album, I think it was such a great album for them, as creatives, as producers, because it inspired me a lot. It inspired me to try new things, try to not just go for one style when I release a bunch of tracks. Maybe try to push things. Maybe, you know, do a dance EP, but also throw in like, you know, Afrobeat or something like that. I don't know. For me, it just, it inspired me creatively. And dude, I just love Swedish House Mafia. Man, they're just, they impress me all the time. Especially singularity, like Axwell, Sebastian Grosso. They just like, those two guys, they're just fucking great, man. When they were doing their own duo, they were great as well. And it, you know what I mean? It just, I don't know. All three of them are great. And they all bring something to the table, if that makes sense. And I dig that. I really dig that they can all be together and bring, you know, their own unique style to it. And it's one of those things that it's so cool to see in three men to do that, right? So you're like, man, you know, if I can, not just three men, just three, you know, I don't want to be like that. It's just three genius combining into one project. I think it's so cool. And there's tons of projects, duos. Like Corella is another duo project that's fucking sick. But these guys, it was cool because everybody was expecting something, right? We were expecting you know, the whole like "Don't You Worry Child" kind of vibe, right? And it just wasn't like that with this album, and it's cool, man. I dig it, and I respect that so much. And it's one of those things. It's like it's one of those albums you gotta study. You just study, study, study. As a producer, you gotta study it and just admire it. And as a, you know, as a listener, you just enjoy it and you experience it, and you just can't wait to see them live and enjoy that moment with them and with your friends, and especially your friends that have no, you know, they have nothing to deal with this like world of like festivals or dance world. It's cool to them, for them experience and be like, you know, especially the bass that's in at the festivals. I know they're performing at Coachella, and it's so cool, man. Their board was so fucking sick. They had, you know, CDJs. They had like I think they had like the machine, native instruments. I don't know. They had like so many like drum pads. They had like sequencers. I thought it was so sick. That was one of the most creative ways to do a DJ set, right? But there's other producers. I'm not saying that they're the only guys that are doing it out there. There's tons of out there. But it was so cool that they did that with The Weeknd as well. And so that was sick, man. But overall, I really love the album. You know, you guys let me know in the comments below. Fucking just you decide which one's the best track. By far, my favorite one has to be the Ty Dolla's track. I just love it overall. It just sound design, quality, you know, has, you know, great artists in there. So, but you let me know in the comments below which one's your favorite favorite track from the album. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today. I have some upcoming tracks, not this month, but the next month. I should have a couple. I have Respect with Angela. I was co-produced on that. And yeah, guys, I just can't wait to do more videos. And I just appreciate you guys' love for the channel, especially you guys checking out my breakdown videos. Let me know what track I can do next. I love doing those. And especially if you guys have your own tracks and remixes, I'm totally down to check it out. I might do on my Patreon, I might do like full on like live stream just for my Patreon members, live stream breakdowns of tracks, and we can all listen to it and think, you know, share our thoughts about it. And I just love that shit. I just want, you know, a community with us together, just, you know, shoot the shit and talk about music. I could talk about music all day. But all right, guys, well, that'll be it for me today, and I'll see you on the next one.